All right, today we're looking at an object that, it just sits quietly in a museum, but it loudly defies everything we think we know about the ancient world. It's an artifact that, by all accounts, simply shouldn't exist. So let's dive in and try to uncover the mystery of the Sabu disk.
I want you to imagine something. What if you found a perfectly machined part from a modern car engine, but you found it buried deep inside an ancient Roman villa? It just doesn't compute, right? Well, that's the exact kind of problem we're facing with the Sabu disk. It's a high-tech shape discovered in a low-tech time, and it forces us to ask this very strange question.
So let's really get into the heart of it, the central contradiction of this thing, what it looks like versus what it's actually made of.
The disconnect here is just staggering. On one hand, any modern engineer would look at this and see a functional design. It looks like a propeller, a flywheel, something clearly made to move fluid or air. But on the other hand, it's carved from schist, a really fragile, layered stone that just shatters if you're not careful. It's kind of like finding a jet engine made out of fine china.
And then you get to the age. This object dates all the way back to 3100 BC. That's more than 5,000 years ago. That number is so big it's hard to wrap your head around, so let's put it into perspective.
So get this. This disk is older than the Great Pyramids of Giza. It's even older than the widespread use of the wheel in ancient Egypt. So how on earth could a culture working with the most basic copper and stone tools create an object with a shape this complex and this, modern?
To really understand the riddle, we have to go back to the moment it was actually pulled out of the Egyptian desert. This isn't some myth or legend. It's a real, documented archaeological find.
For 5,000 years, this thing just lay hidden in the tomb of a First Dynasty official, a guy named Prince Sabu. And then, bam, in 1936, the British Egyptologist Walter Bryan Emery just stumbles upon it during a dig in Saqqara.
And here's what makes the discovery so baffling. It wasn't found with a bunch of other futuristic gadgets. Nope. It was surrounded by the most normal, expected stuff from that period. Simple clay pots, basic flint knives, primitive copper tools. It was completely, utterly out of place.
Even the man who found it was just stumped. In his official notes, Walter Emery couldn't even classify it. He didn't call it a plate or a bowl. He simply labeled it a vessel of unknown purpose. The confusion started the very second it saw the light of day again.
The real heart of the mystery isn't just the object's shape. It's the sheer, mind-bending impossibility of how it was made. It's this fundamental conflict between the stone itself and the science needed to shape it.
So the disk is carved from this stone called schist, and let me tell you, this is not a sculptor's dream material. It's a total nightmare. It's flaky, it's unpredictable. Trying to carve this stone into such a delicate, complex shape would be like trying to sculpt a masterpiece out of a stack of dry crackers. It just seems impossible.
And that's the contradiction right there. The stone is prone to shattering, yet the object has these perfectly smooth, symmetrical curves. Its edges are impossibly thin, tapering down to just a few millimeters. A single wrong tap with a tool would have destroyed the entire thing. So the question is, how was this level of precision even achieved?
The shape makes absolutely no sense for any common household object. It can't hold water like a vase, it's way too fragile to be a wheel, and it would be a terrible design for a plate. So this leads us away from archaeology and right into the world of engineering.
Because when engineers look at this disk, they don't see a buzz, they see a function. The theory goes that if you were to mount this on an axle and spin it really fast, its three lobes are perfectly shaped to act as an impeller. They would create this powerful vortex, making it an incredibly efficient pump for moving either water or air. The design actually works.
But here's the unsettling part. A part needs a machine, right? An impeller needs a motor, a casing, a power source, the whole shebang. So this theory implies that the ancient Egyptians had access to a technology that, according to our historical timeline, is just completely impossible.
And this brings us to the final showdown, this major conflict between two completely different ways of seeing the exact same object, with absolutely no easy answer in sight. So on one side, you've got the mainstream archaeological view. It's a ceremonial object, a decorative vase, maybe it's supposed to look like a lotus flower. It was simply a master craftsman showing off their incredible skill. Then, on the other side, you have the engineering analysis. It's a functional machine part. Its aerodynamic design is just too specific and too efficient to be a coincidence.
Now, if you go to the Cairo Museum today, the debate is pretty much settled, at least officially. The little placard next to the disc just dismisses the whole mystery, labeling it as an incense burner or a vase. For the official record, the case is closed.
But for a lot of people, that explanation just doesn't cut it. The Sabu disc falls into this really special category of objects we call OOP arts, or out-of-place artifacts. These are the anomalies, the glitches in the matrix of history that challenge us to question what we really think we know about the past.
And so, we're left with this one lingering question. Was the Sabu disc just the brilliant, one-of-a-kind creation of some ancient artist who was pushing the absolute limits of their craft? Or is it something more? A silent, stone echo of a technology that existed, flourished, and was then completely lost to the sands of time? The disc itself isn't talking, and that leaves all of us to wonder.